Good morning. I hope everyone had a wonderful Christmas. I'm just seeing what our volume is here. There we go. Maybe now you hear me. All right. So let's say good morning to Carol and to Carrie, the world traveler, and Anik. And we welcome whoever else comes today to be in the chat. Yeah, we're on time. So before we begin, let's reach out to Mother Father and ask them to come and be present forever within our hearts. Call in the various phylums of the angels and to all the ascended beings. And we welcome all those throughout the universe to come and to sit with us if they're open to learning and gaining an understanding of what evolution is about, not only in our world, but within the self. So we'll say our mantra. I am the soul. I am the light divine. I am love. I am will. I am fixed design. Very good. Take a breath, breathe that down deep. So I wonder if for any of you, like myself, you had a lot of contemplation, whether it was over the Christmas weekend or for the week that we weren't here. We certainly, over the weeks before, had plenty of discussions. Good morning, Kathy Marino. And appreciate all of you showing up. And meeting family, if that's what some of you did, always is a different experience than just having your everyday experience. And we were home alone, but we saw family on FaceTime, a great avenue that you can tap in. And for me, I got to see the benefit and the non-benefit of how you aspire to take a look at something. Good morning, Christina. How are you? Always as I grew up, and even my grandson, when he lived with us on Christmas morning, and this isn't to be judgmental, but you open a gift at a time and share it and talk about it. And this year, for some reason, these two boys dove into everything, and in 5 minutes, it was all done. And we both looked at each other like, did they get what we sent? Where was it? What's going on? So that gave me a lot to contemplate on our world. Are they a mirror of the world? Is that how everybody lives life? Is hurry, 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 get what you can out of it, and don't give any thought about how it got there or where it is? Certainly, I guess there's a lot that could all be thought about that. Or is it just that it's stressful? Let me hurry and get it out. There's a lot for children pent up about what's coming and what's not. And it was just an interesting experience for our energy, because we're normally very serene and quiet here. And we were like, whoa, what's going on here? So I hope you all had lovely experiences with whomever you were with. And if you were with yourself, that you could find that you're not alone. God's always with you, and lots of angels, more angels than probably any of us can speak. And a different level of awareness within the self. So today, first I'm going to ask if anyone has a specific question, and then I'll go on and give a subject as to what we're going to talk about today. Did anybody have anything unusual come up that they'd like to hear about from Mother or someone? I gather that's a no. All right, so let's see what I'm going to spurn our conversation in what direction. So I believe what I was discussing is having peace, and where you don't have peace in the world. For I could say there would be none of us that would say we don't want that. So where do you not have that? And is it just within that encompassment of yourself, or do you arrive yourself there when you're with people that are around you? So let's just together all contemplate for a moment from within our heart. What does peace mean to us? Certainly no fighting, no arguing. The word separation comes up to me. Those things that do create a separation in our world, maybe within ourselves. So I want you to take a moment and think of a person that perhaps in your family or a close person that you could say there's issues with, that you can't just say it's a divine relationship. Perhaps I'm going to tap in here for a moment. Some of them are in the heart. Some of them are in the solar plexus. Yes, even though I am at one with God is in the solar plexus, it's also that empowerment and who you give power to, and sometimes lack the ability to hold the blessing of the truth you are yourself. It's that struggle, that pull back and forth that makes things not comfortable. So whichever chakra it's in, I want you to see if you can either feel or see the wound it is in that chakra. Let it show itself to you. Let it scream if it needs to. Let's just allow. You know, we've become aware of an identity that we each have. And we kind of, good morning, Barbara Ward. We kind of have a facade that most people wear to hold to, this is who I am, I've decided. And yet actually it's people outside of myself has decided this is my action and how I believe. So as we go to feel these wounds, and whoever it is who's been a participant in creating that wound, as you allow it and give it permission, we are going to actually touch a greater loving of yourself. And where you have empowered someone else to put something within you. Remember, every time someone touches you, a cord has been sent to you somewhere. And unless you're very, very efficient and remember to clear your cords morning and night, and maybe even through the day, it's very possible that they're left there and fester. most of what I'm feeling that you're tapping into is an old wound, an old wound. Yes, this lifetime, but it's been there for a while and has actually changed the identification of self to yourself. So, for those of you who have tapped into that place, whether it's mother or father or brother or whoever it is, aunt, uncle, I want you to decide which ray of the 7, I will remind you of them. First ray is blue, the will to do. Second ray is yellow, illumination. Third ray is love, pink. The fourth ray is clarity, white. Fifth ray is healing, green. The sixth ray is the peace that we talked about. It's gold and ruby. And of course, the final ray of Saint Germain is a violet flame. So as you're looking at this wound, good morning, Marby. Glad you made it. So as you're looking at this wound that has a separation on some level for you, because you've allowed someone to give a label to who you are and how you act and how you put yourself forth in the world. If it's only with them, it doesn't matter. So I want you to see if you can decide which of those 7 rays is the color ray to send to that wound. And you can always have it be one of the rays with love. Doesn't have to be, but you could. And I want you to sit with it and get real quiet so you can be very awake in this process. And begin to feel what happens as the wound receives that light. That intention from your truth. That you now have the decision that this is not you. We're not saying it's the other person. It has nothing to do with the other person. It was about finding this in you. Slowly let the light touch it. Some of you it may swirl. Some of you it may just be absorbed. There's no have to here. This is you. What do you want? What does that place in your heart and your solar plexus, what does it need? Because its desire here is to have self-love in place of whatever this wound is. Yes, I'm going to tell you there are many wounds. It's not going to be this one's going to just tip you over the edge. But it's going to let you know of the depth of you that's alive and waiting there for you to be lovable. There you can feel. There is energy moving. Old energy. Where someone in your life taught you how you act out of love, which is an untruth. And it's been sitting there and become rickety and festered. And today's the day, this one spot. You can do this as many times as you want. I do not care. But we need to begin. Begin to allow the love, give up the will, illuminate, whatever it is, and give freedom back, that 7th ray, so that you can begin to determine what truly peace and happiness is for you. So we all sometimes wonder, well, why can't I find that? Well, because there's all these places deep inside you that are not holding in that construction. It's holding itself in a different form built from someone else's thought or action or words said to you. Yes, it's interesting, isn't it, when you look at it and how much power we give to the people we know, we love, that we embrace, but that's life. And that's why we've come to Earth, is to unravel all these places that someone else has had the power. You've given them the power to define who you are when they don't have a clue. More than likely, it's to have you be like them. We don't know that that's so wonderful yet either, do we? No. So just keep letting this, embrace this light. Maybe you need 2 or 3 of them to complete the process. It doesn't matter. Here's where your heart becomes that which heals with you. Not so much that the mind has to figure it out, but the love in your heart can feel. What does it need to be able to become a pure existence? Wherever this little wound is that started out really big, it's going to be able to just be plucked out and let go. And there'll be a newness inside you. And what's going to be new? Your perception of self. The deeper essence of what your love is really like. There's probably people in the world that have no clue that they even know what love is. And I know you're all very wise being and certainly know love, but it doesn't mean you don't have these little places that are all tangled and lost. And in this moment, we're going to tap into the light we've brought in and let it begin to embrace it, devour it in a loving way. Now your field and energy should be expanding. And I say should because that's the normal response. And if perhaps not, then maybe it's a deeper wound than you thought. And just breathe and stay with it. What would you want if you were in a disturbed state? You would want to be loved while you are breathing through it. And that's what this wound wants also. Don't shut it away again. The more you know, the more you recognize you. Because right now, there's the identification of yourself with this wound. And that's what's not the truth. Because it's been formulated out of other thoughts from somewhere else. And we want to let that all go. We want to get to know who you are. And that is what the journey is about, this right here. Taking the time to discover why and where are you who you are today. And we have interactions, experiences to help us discover that. Some are getting to a close space where you can begin to feel and breathe deeper. This is good. For some, it may totally change a huge part of your world. I don't know. But if it's the smallest piece, there is value to it. Because I remember telling you in the beginning about loving yourself. You really don't know yet what that feels like. Because there are a lot of places. Small wounds, big wounds, forgotten, purposeful. Once those things are released and you have the freedom to do the will to surrender your will, then you will have truly experienced a new breath, a new experience of not only what your love is, but what your relationship with God will be. So let's take a breath and let it go in a little deeper, getting to the root of whatever this is. And to me, this is what December, we can say especially like Christmas if you want. But all the stress, a good word, right? Especially with this week, my daughter never made it because Southwest told her not to go. She'd never make it. So she's coming next weekend. All things are purposeful. And how we choose to take them and react to it are on some level purposeful to help yourself release it. So take a breath and close your eyes and just let your aura begin to expand. And does it feel freer? Does that place where that distortion was, can you breathe through it? Can you give it a new inflation of love? Bring the pink color to it, the pink ray, self-love. And begin to see that when you go to think of what it was, it has gone. And that what you and where you are now is truly pure, free. More of your higher light to grow, your consciousness to elevate, to really discover and be who you really are. And perhaps you're not really sure of that yet. It takes a while. Or it always takes forever, who knows? Because the truth is the healing never ends. So today we're having a healing on a place that someone may have triggered inside of you, or that taught you that to hold yourself in distortion in a way was the way to protect yourself. Who knows? All kinds of scenarios. But today, with Mother and Father's light, you've been offered the opportunity to embrace it, to allow it. If it needed to scream, I hope you've been letting it scream. Let it out. Think of what it does on the stress level to your body to hold that distortion in. Or if it's sadness and grief and you're still crying, let it out. Be willing to listen to it. You really don't want yourself to be crying over that. No. For the world is that which is. And there's a point when we become, as we've worked with ourselves, a co-creator, and then we can truly make things different. Until then, we're going to choose to heal and to make things different and to find our way. Blessings, blessings, blessings. So perhaps some of you that feel you've made that place inside of you transform, you can write and tell me how that feels. If some of you have questions, you can write to me and ask me what to do. But we are invoking metamorphosis, transformation, change. Yes, we are awakening to a greater level of glasses feel crooked. Yes, like I had to put my glasses on straight. We could see crooked or not with truth. So someplace within you is changing just by bringing in the light and holding a place in your heart to allow it to move. finding that what you have been holding on to is an illusion, said to, spoken to, shown to you from someone else. And the truth is that you are the love. All the love there can possibly be. So when we bring the ray into the illusion, it allows you to hold a greater light, a higher consciousness, and certainly a new perception in your awakening. So, has anyone finished that action yet? Let me know. It's kind of doing healing from an expanded place without the bells and the whistles. But depending on who you are, it can be more powerful. Because then you're empowering yourself. Then the essence of the God and the rays. And it's by your own hand. Master Victory teaches us that. He stands in the golden being with the golden flame in his one hand. He marches this world through it by his own hand. But that's a powerful state to be in also. So Anik says, it's much more peaceful inside of me, thank you. Very good. So something let go. Very nice. Anybody else? Maybe you need to think about, well, in letting that go, what came? Was it something other than love? Was it peace, like Anik? Or was it an awakening? Or did you become more aware of your action-reaction? So many possibilities in this experience. Perhaps there were tears that came. Are there good tears, bad tears? Maybe there's just tears, and allow them. You see? Maybe there's just tears. So Carrie says, yep, more peaceful as well. Good. Barbara, this practice definitely brings more spaciousness within me. But I feel there are many, many more layers to remove, and this is the truth. But it also, on some level, gives you the simplicity for the one that we looked for. Perhaps take more than simplicity. You know, all very different. But good. I feel wonderful that you were able to find that within yourself. I can feel me becoming peaceful just sitting here with you. Anyone else want to comment? When you comment, you know what it does? It puts it in the record. Because words, and whatever we think, go out around the universe and they never stop. It's a continual. Be careful what you speak or think. But to speak this truth is going to help others that it might fly by and give someone that idea. Look, just be quiet and you can change what's inside you. So Marby, Christina, Kathy, how are you all feeling? It's very cold here today. And what I notice, why I'm mentioning is because it feels very warm here in our group and where we are. Mm-hmm. Perhaps someone's hot even. But that's the movement of your energy and how it's awakening and becoming alive. It's when you feel warm. It's not a bad thing, it's a good thing. Had you ever thought of that? Yes. Warmth and heat is very, very good. Someone's asking me if you need to put something where you took that out. And by working with the rays, you actually are putting something where the other one comes out. So now we don't have to do anything different. You just need to complete it. And if your intuition says something else to you, then you ask your heart and feel if this is imperfection, then you can do it. And afterwards, you should have some kind of an upliftment feeling. Yep. Very good. So maybe we relieve the stress of Christmas. Who knows? And if we did, it's the stress we create ourselves, because Christmas is about the birth of Christ. And there would be no stress for us to have that. So maybe some of you haven't had your Christmas yet or your holiday celebration. So now you can understand there's no need to take stress with it. The word is allow, observe. There's a long time in your path where you're being taught to be the observer, not the participant. Within your development, there is a need to participate. Two different things. So here we're participating in the action, and then we're observing. What made the change? How do I feel? What about today's world and my living in it would be different? What from my consciousness is raised? Are you yawning? That's a good sign of a shift of consciousness. Marby, it says you entered at 11:11. Very powerful. That's where you stand and look at yourself, especially in a loving way. Powerful numbers. So, anyone else have a comment or question? And allow this spaciousness, this peace and calmness to be with you all day. What's going to take it away is becoming emotional. As soon as someone becomes emotional in the second chakra, whatever you've set around you, whatever good things are gone, and they have to be reset. So as long as you can hold a balance with the truth of who you are, it will maintain itself, which is always good to know. But that moment when something disturbs you, upset you, gets you a little, there's another wound somewhere developing, you see. And light cannot exist in that energy. So have to start again, have to take a minute and get rooted, whatever it is you all do. And be there for you. Once you get the idea and can really believe you're there for you, you have made quantum leaps. And that you have the power that divine love, that profound wisdom and the threefold flame to be there around you and walking in it. It's not the power of attaining or any of those things. Those are human things. It's the divine power of the light. And today we use that divine power of the light to help you heal, to help you to allow yourself to release and to let go. It's a very powerful tool to have. And as I said, Barbara Ward is right. There are many levels that this has to occur on and be touched by. And in the end, if there is an end, they say there's no end to the healing, no matter who you are. And I can only express that because if you talk to Sanat Kumara, who has given his job now to his son, and he has other places working on a whole planet within him, his healing is now not just healing himself, but taking the responsibility for everyone who lives there. So we're going to have different choices at that time when we are confronted with that. What are we going to choose to be? There's 7 choices. And I won't boggle today down with them. But there's always going to be more healing. It depends on where you think you want to go with what you're doing. So I'm assuming no one else wants to add anything. So, let me see. Barbara Ward again. Thank you, Mother TheoSophia, for sharing this powerful tool with us. We'll remember the divine power of the light. I believe that healing never ends. Yes, that's what they say. And we can't even understand the whole experience of that until we get there. You know? And it looks different. I know for me it looks different. What becomes is a healing. When I woke up yesterday, I heard my mother's voice, and my mother called me with my name in a certain way, and I knew it was her. It had the same tone, everything. And then about 2 minutes later, I heard my father call me, who he called me a special name also. So they came to me first thing yesterday morning, which was enough of a gift in itself to know that they were there with me. Which, yes, they are a lot, but it was some reason it was very special. And then my husband, who we really haven't for years exchanged Christmas gifts, came out with all these presents for me. It was really quite an experience. So I had a very blessed Christmas. I hope all of you did too. And it wasn't about the presents or the gifts and what they are. It was about the feeling of all of it and where it all came from. So, see you tomorrow doing messages. And I hope you have a good rest of the day if you're still off. And if not, well, to be whoever it is that's going to run into you today, that would be a very big blessing. So, God bless you. See you tomorrow. Have a good day.